Hey everybody, welcome to Simple Dudes, Simple Foods. Yes, we made the name change. Thank you very much for all the input on that. Today we're going to be making a pork chop recipe. It's going to be boneless pork chops. We've had a call out for pork recipes or a pork chop recipe, so we're going to go ahead and do that. The first thing we did though is we brined our pork chops in 1 tablespoon of salt, kosher salt, to 1 cup of water. So I took 4 cups of water, 4 tablespoons of kosher salt, let them sit for a couple hours, then took them and rinsed them off really good. And that's where we're at now, because these are a little bit thicker chops. If you're doing thinner chops, do them about 30 minutes. But either way, keep the ratio the same. Second thing that's really important, we're going to make sure we do is get our temperature 145 to 150 tops, and then go ahead and get them out of the oven or off the heat source, because the more you cook them, the tougher they're going to get and the drier they're going to get, because pork just doesn't have the fat content that beef does as far as the lines of fat running through. We do have fat around the outside, but it's still not quite enough. So it is really easy to overcook pork and get it tough and dry. And then the third thing, once we're done, we're going to go ahead. Now we're going to be doing a orange glaze on these. So once we're done, we're going to set the chops to the side, let them rest a little bit, let the liquids and everything get back, or the moisture go back in from the outside as you're cooking. It draws it to the outside and it'll push it back in. Anyway, be good to go. So we're basically going to just season up our chops here before we cook them in the skillet. I got just a little bit of vegetable oil in there. We want to go ahead and sear these off, and then we're going to put them in the oven and cook them again to temperature. I've got it set at 400 degrees, and then we're going to go ahead and put this in. All we want to do right now is just get a nice sear on the chops. So we went ahead, and it helps to go ahead and season the one side before you put them in. That way, when you go ahead and flip them, that side's already done. Set this off to the side. We're only going to let this go for a couple minutes. That sound of sizzle is just delicious. All right, let them sit there a couple minutes. We want to make sure that you don't mess with them. Once you put them in there, just let them sit there and develop that nice crust on them. So don't be flipping around, moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these now. We just want to get that nice little crust going there on each of them. And now we're going to go ahead and let these sit. And of course, we already seasoned the other side, so we're good to go there. So now we're going to let them sit just like they are. I'm not going to mess with them for about another 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and just take them and go straight to the oven. We're using cast iron, which is always a great pan to use for cooking with. So we can go straight from the stovetop to the oven. Cook them to temperature. Remember, 145 to 150. Don't go any more than that. That's going to help you keep these pork chops nice and juicy and tender. So we'll do that, and we will be back when we pull them from the oven. See you in a minute. All right, folks, we're back. We got our pork chops here cooked perfectly. Really beautiful crust. You can see it actually there's some liquid coming out of there, so we know we didn't dry them out. From there, we're going to go ahead and make up our orange sauce. Really simple. That's what we like to do here on Simple Foods. So this is a 3-ingredient sauce. We're going to take 3/4 cup of orange juice. Go ahead and pour that into a bowl. And that's going to be no pulp on that. Then we're going to take 3/4 cup packed brown sugar. Dump that in there. And we're going to take 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And get that in there. And then we'll whisk this up. We're going to whisk this up, and then we're going to go ahead and add it. If y'all can't tell by now watching the videos that I do, I'm a messy cook. I get stuff every time I cook. I get stuff all over the place. Doesn't matter if I'm painting, whatever it is. It's all over. But that's the fun of cooking, and that's just the way it goes. We're going to go ahead and just put this right into the pan, because we want all these really good, really nice, flavorful bits of goodness there from cooking up the chops to be in this sauce. We're going to go ahead and just whisk this up. We want to bring this to a boil, and once it does, we want it to thicken just a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and put our chops back in just for a minute, flip them over, and they will be ready to go. So we're already coming up to a boil here. It's not a gravy thick type sauce, but it is thicker than juice is. It'll thicken up here just a little bit. And when you let it sit, it'll thicken up a little bit too. If you want to add something to it, if you really want that thicker consistency, you can add a little cornstarch into it if you want. I just like it as it is. And that's looking like we're pretty much there. We're going to go ahead and turn this down to a low heat. Low to off. We'll go low and then just drop our chops back in here just for a minute. I want to go ahead and let the glaze kind of cook into the chop. And there we go. Let that do its thing. Get all that nice, the sweet and the tangy and everything from the orange juice and the brown sugar and the mustard. I'm going to let that kind of get into the meat. And we're going to be good to go. So we're going to leave it at that and come back and we're going to plate up, I don't know, whatever I come up with to fix with it. And then we'll go ahead and check out the plate when we're done. So back in a minute. Okay, folks, there you have it. Really is a simple, easy recipe to fix. Pork chop doesn't take hardly any time at all to cook when you're bringing it up to temperature. So again, to make sure that it's tender, it's going to come out the right way. You want to make sure you're cooking to temperature. That's the most important thing with pork chops because they have very little fat in them. 145, 150 degrees, and you're good to go. If you go over just a little bit, that's fine. But you want to try and stay within that, 145, 150, 155 at the most, okay? The sauce was real simple. It was a 3/4 cup of orange juice, pulp free, 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. You want to mix that in with your drippings from your pork chops after you cook them. So I could have cooked these on the stovetop all the way to temperature. I just went ahead and threw them in the oven for a few minutes while I was doing a couple other things, but keep a close eye on them because they don't take long to cook. Once you sear them off on one side, flip them to the other, you're going to be pretty close to that internal temperature already. So again, be very mindful of how long you're leaving them in the oven. And then we just paired them up with some noodles and herbs and some Lesueur's peas out of the can, which I kind of like those. So that's it. Again, simple food, simple dudes, simple foods being the new channel name. We're going to stick to that. We want to make things that are easy for you to be able to come home from work, put together really quickly, whatever it may be. That's kind of our goal. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave us a comment. We love all your comments, really appreciate them. Getting lots of great advice and lots of good compliments, nice words from everybody. So thank you very much for that, and we'll see you in the next video.